Your cat doesn't pick a random spot on the bed. At your feet, against your side, curled on your chest, up beside your head. Each one is a different message, and most owners read all of them wrong. One of those positions means, I trust you completely, and one of them is closer to a goodbye. Tonight, I want to show you how to read every one of them. You'll learn why your cat really climbs into your bed, and what it's quietly checking while you sleep. And near the end, one change in this behavior that most people treat as normal, when it's actually a warning. Stay with me, because once you see it, you'll never look at your sleeping cat the same way again. Let's start with the simplest question, the one that turns out to have no simple answer. Why does your cat come to you at night at all? Most people say the same thing. Warmth. Cats love warmth, and you're warm. But look closer. Your cat lives in a home full of warm options. Radiators, sunny windows ills, soft chairs, maybe a heated bed of its own. If this were only about temperature, it would have a dozen better choices. And still, it comes to you. Specifically you. There was a man named Nikita who spent 3 years insisting cats were selfish, that they only wanted food and warmth. Then one night his fever climbed to 40 degrees, and the cat, who always slept in another room, came in, lay down on his chest, and didn't leave until morning. She had never done that before. Not once. And something in him shifted. Here's why that matters. In the wild, a cat is a solitary predator, and sleep is the most dangerous thing it does. You don't fall asleep next to a threat, because sleep is the moment everything can end. So when your cat chooses to sleep against you, it's overriding one of the deepest instincts of its species. It's choosing to be vulnerable next to you. Researchers at the University of Lincoln spent years studying these bonds and found something they didn't expect. Cats show selective affection. They don't attach to whoever feeds them the most. They attach to the person around whom their nervous system finally goes quiet. So if your cat sleeps on you, understand what that means. It didn't pick you for the food. It picked you for the calm. Now here's the part almost no one notices. When your cat lies down and closes its eyes, you probably assume it's simply falling asleep. It isn't. Not fully. Even while sleeping, cats keep part of their senses awake. Their ears still track sound. Their nose still reads the air. And at night, in the quiet, when there's almost nothing else competing for attention, that system works with startling precision. So the real question is, what is your cat reading? All those hours next to you. 3 things. The first is the rhythm of your breathing. It shifts with your sleep stage, your stress, your health. After enough nights beside you, your cat knows your normal rhythm by heart, and it notices the moment you drift from it. The second is your body temperature. When you're sick or anxious, your warmth changes, and the receptors on a cat's face and paws pick up those small shifts with real accuracy. The third is the deepest one, your smell. Your body constantly releases faint chemical compounds, and their makeup changes with stress, illness, and hormones. To your cat's nose, that isn't just a scent. It's readable text. Over years of sleeping beside you, your cat builds a map of your normal chemistry, and any drift from it is a signal. So those stories, the ones where a cat shows up the night before its owner falls ill, they aren't sweet legends. They're physiology, quiet, documented, and real. Your cat may know something is wrong with you before you do, which brings us to the question you actually came here for. Where does your cat lie? And what is each spot really telling you? Because your cat isn't just looking for a comfortable spot. It's choosing a position. And in a cat's world, every position carries meaning. Start at your feet. It feels like distance, like the cat keeping to itself. But it's the opposite. In cat logic, the feet are the exit. Whoever controls the exit controls the room. A cat curled at your feet has taken a guard post. It's watching the perimeter. treating you as territory worth protecting. It sounds cool and detached. It's actually one of the only ways a cat knows how to stand watch over you. Move up to your side. A cat pressed against your ribs isn't guarding anything. It wants contact. The plain physical fact of your body next to its own. Warmth against warmth. Breath against breath. This isn't control. It's closeness. In the most honest sense a cat has. Now your chest or your stomach. Here your cat lies right over your heartbeat and your breathing, as close to them as it can get. There's a theory, backed by observation, that this sound reaches back to a cat's very first memory, its mother. The first weeks of life, when the world was nothing but a heartbeat and complete safety. When a grown cat recreates that on you, it's returning to the deepest peace it knows and tying it to you. And then the most intimate spot of all, your head, your pillow. The head is the most vulnerable part of any animal, and in the world of predators, access to another creature's head is either a threat or absolute trust. One owner described their very first night with a new cat. It climbed onto their shoulder, and then, gently, began arranging the exact placement of their head on the pillow. Over 2,000 people recognize that instantly because their cat does the same thing. When your cat sleeps by your head, it's saying, I trust you enough to be here, and I'm watching over you while you can't watch over yourself. But there's one position I haven't mentioned, the most revealing one of all. And strangely, it's not where your cat lies down, it's the night it stops. Hold that thought, because before we reach that night, there's something you need to understand. So far, we've talked about what your cat is doing. But co-sleeping is doing something to you too, and almost no one talks about it. Studies in sleep science keep landing on the same result. The presence of a living creature beside you as you sleep lowers your cortisol, your stress hormone. It steadies your heart rhythm. It cuts down the number of times you wake in the night. People who sleep next to a cat rate their sleep as deeper and more restoring. But here's the catch, and it's everything. This effect only works if there's a real bond. If a person feels no connection to the animal, the physiological changes barely show up. So it isn't just a warm body in the bed, it's the relationship. It's who that creature is to you and who you are to it. You hear this constantly from people who've lived it. One person, in their 20s, had struggled with sleep for years until they adopted a cat and finally started sleeping through the night. Others describe something even quieter. People who live with anxiety will simply lie down and let the cat purr against them and feel the tension drain out of their body. They call them healers. And they're not being poetic. That low, steady purr, the weight of a small, warm body over your heart, is doing real work on your nervous system. Your cat, in the most literal sense, is helping to heal you at night. Not as a metaphor, biochemically, and you've probably never once thanked it for that. And now we come to the night I promised you, the position that reveals the most. The night your cat stops coming to bed at all. Most owners wave it off. It found a cooler spot. It's getting older. It just wants space. And that assumption can be a serious mistake, because cats don't abandon a deeply rooted ritual for no reason. Sleeping beside you isn't a shallow habit. It's tied to a cat's basic sense of safety. When it suddenly collapses, something underneath it has changed. There are three main reasons. The first is physical. Cats instinctively hide pain and illness, because in the wild, a weak animal that shows weakness doesn't survive. So they withdraw. One owner shared that her cat had quietly stopped sleeping with her, and not long after, they discovered a tumor in the cat's jaw. Nearly 7,000 people replied that the exact same thing had happened to them. If your cat suddenly pulls away from contact, especially if it's older than 6 or 7, don't wait for other symptoms. See a vet. The second reason is the environment. A new person, a new smell, furniture moved, your own schedule shifted. What feels trivial to you can be an earthquake in your cat's small, ordered world. And the third reason is the hardest to hear. It's you. Cats notice when the emotional weather in a home changes, when there's more tension, when your own baseline has shifted, and they do the only thing they know. They move to where it feels calm. That isn't a judgment, it's information. So if your cat has stopped coming, don't force it into bed. Ask a gentler question. What changed not in the cat? In you, in the home, in the air of the place. Then quietly start rebuilding what it came for in the first place. Calm, predictability, room for its nervous system to breathe. If it wants to, it will come back. And if it does, it means you've become the safe place again. And if your cat has never slept in your bed, please don't take that as a verdict. Plenty of people quietly wonder why their cat won't, and read it as rejection. It isn't. Some cats simply love from a small distance. Presence is presence, whether it's on your chest or across the room, watching you. Because in the end, this was never really about cats. It's a mirror. Your cat doesn't flatter you, doesn't pretend, doesn't lie down out of politeness. It comes only when it's true. One woman shared a pillow with her cat for 15 years, and a month after he was gone, she still couldn't sleep on her own side of the bed. That's the weight of what we're talking about. So tonight, when that small, warm body settles against you, notice where it lies. It's telling you something it can't say any other way. If this changed how you see your cat, even a little, share it with someone who sleeps beside one. And stay close, because next time I'll show you what else your cat is telling you every day that you've never heard.